StraighTAllDay.com.
To the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today we are getting into part 2 of, we don't know how many parts it's going to be. I am answering questions from my texting community. People in my texting community, these are people who are usually fans of this show. These are people who are listening to the show. They are engaged. And when I put out the call and said, what's one question you want me to answer? They send in questions. So I am taking the time to answer these questions because they are listeners of this show already. So it makes sense that I answer their questions, which are your questions. This is you that I'm answering these questions from. So before we get started, though, let me remind everybody I send out a daily motivation text every morning free of charge to everybody in my text community. These are the people who sent in these questions. Guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point every morning. You want to get that message? I already know you want to get the message. So text me at my number, 305-384-6894. Secondly, Work on Your Game University, which I'll probably mention multiple times here in today's episode as I give these answers, is the only place to get coached by me directly. Is the only place where you can get access to most important frameworks and trainings on mindset, strategy, systems, and execution, specifically for you entrepreneurs and professionals who are serious about taking your mindset where it needs to be, then your actions and activities, making the money that you want to make, having the business that you want to have, and the life you want to have as a result of all of that you can get started with the university by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. And as I said, we just opened a new group coaching program, which as of this recording, but may have changed by the time you hear this, I'm not even announcing this program yet, but it is available. But we're not announcing it to where anybody can just come join. That we got to know you, we got to talk to you, and once we know you and talk to you, we will tell you about it and invite you in. But this program is going to be groundbreaking because we're going to be able to serve so many more people with this program. But you got to go to workonyourgameuniversity.com to even be in the know about what we got going on. So all that said, let's get into answering our questions here. We're on question number, again, I got 41 good questions from people who text back and responded. So this is question number 5. This is from Dwayne in Cleveland. He says, how do I take all the information I've gathered from various places how do I take all the information I've gathered on business, money, getting started in business, etc., and put all the pieces together? So Dwayne is saying, all right, I got all this information that I've gotten from all these different places. So let's say Dwayne's reading books, he's going to events, he's taking courses, he's listening to podcasts, he's following people on social media. He's got all this information on business, money, how to get started, etc. How do you put all this together into one coherent thing and make it into something? A couple different answers here. Number one answer is get into somebody's program and plug into their process so that you're not taking all these disparate parts and trying to make it make sense, because that is not going to make sense because not everybody's information is going to be in sync with each other. So for example, what entrepreneur A and entrepreneur B, entrepreneur C, D, and E, and then what I say, all are not always all going to line up. Something that entrepreneur B says and something that entrepreneur D says are going to conflict with something that I said. And now you got to decide which one do you want to listen to or which one do you want to follow. And if you try to follow some of them and some of me, then you're going to end up confused because at some point our ideas are going to butt heads. So what you need to do, and this is something that I talked about, and let's see if I can find an episode where I talked about this because I would have to figure out what I titled it. But it's basically putting yourself on some people call it an information diet. What I like to call it is really just figuring out who your mentors are going to be. And I think that's what I use. Figuring out who your mentors are going to be. Let me see if I can find it. And this will be episode number, I'm just looking through my list here. Episode 283. And the episode title is TMI, which stands for Too Much Information. Choose your gurus and mentors and eliminate the rest. This is exactly what you need to do, Dwayne. So listen to episode 283. Figure out who your gurus are going to be in, let's say, business, because that's what he's asking about here, and decide who's your expert on business going to be. And I would say no more than 3 people. I would focus on no more than 3 people in any particular space, and then you want to go deep into everything that they have. That means that they have a book or books, get all their books. If they have courses, get their courses. If they have a live event, get a ticket, go to their event. If they have a coaching program, get into their coaching program, but only those 3 people. So don't be getting information from 30 different entrepreneurs and then trying to figure out how to do business. That's how people end up confused. Pick your 2 or 3 gurus, and these gurus need to be, first of all, they need to be out there enough with enough material that you're not going to run out of material. You don't want to get to the bottom of the well of what they know. So they got to be somebody who's active. They have enough material out there that you can keep consuming from them and you're not going to run out. And there are plenty of them who fit that description. They need to have social proof that you see that they're in the game. They're actually doing the stuff. They're not just talking about what they used to do, but they're actually actively doing the stuff. That's another thing. And then you gotta, do you vibe with them? All right, does their style of communication match your style of taking it in? And those are the people you need to focus on. So for me personally, I pick 2 or 3 experts in whatever area that I care the most about, and I just go deep with those individual people, and I just take in all of their stuff on a particular topic. And there are some topics where I just pick one person and I just go deep into their stuff, or one organization, just go deep into their stuff on a specific niche topic. So that's what I would do there. But what you don't want to try to do, Dwayne, is what you asked in your question, which is put all the pieces together from all different places. It's not fitting because you got a bunch of different puzzle pieces from a bunch of different puzzles. Then you're trying to figure out, how do I make this into a coherent puzzle? Well, you can't, because the puzzles, each of those puzzle pieces that you have were not made with the other puzzles in mind. So that's why it's not making sense. It's like somebody speaks a sentence and part of the sentence is in French, part of it is in English, part of it is in Spanish, part of it is in Mandarin, and then you're trying to understand what the sentence is supposed to say. Well, you don't, because each piece is speaking a different language. So you got to figure out, that's a damn good metaphor I just gave right there. So what you need to figure out is, which language do you want to learn? And focus on that language, get that down, and then just stay there. All right, stay in that space. Plant your flag somewhere with one expert. I would suggest this guy named Drake Baldwin. He has this place called Work on Your Game University. That's what I would suggest, but you do what you want to do. Moving on, number 6. We're answering questions from the text community. This comes from Kobe. Kobe is in Meriden, Connecticut. He says, what are the keys to living a purpose-driven life and making a meaningful contribution to the world? All right, so this is one of those Miss America questions. All right? The keys to living a purpose-driven life and making a meaningful contribution to the world. So this is good. Miss America is an important role. All right? They get a lot of sponsorships and endorsements. You win that competition. So anyway, answer is, first of all, figure out what your purpose is. Because you can't have a purpose-driven life without a purpose. So what's the purpose? What is your purpose, Kobe? That's the first thing you need to answer. You may need to sit down in a room, no phone, no TV, no radio, and really figure out what your purpose is. What is it that you want to achieve in this life? What is it that you want to be true about you when your time here is done? That's a good question that all of us should answer. What do you want to be true about you? What do you want to still be around about you that is true when you are no longer around to speak for yourself? That's the first thing. That's how you get clear on your purpose. Once you're clear on your purpose, and there's some books about purpose that you could probably go to Amazon, just look up purpose or purpose-driven life. There's a book called The Purpose-Driven Life, and you could probably find 50 books on this subject of purpose. I would say grab about 3 or 4 of them, read them. And they're all going to be kind of saying the same things. So just say it in different ways. Get 3 or 4 books on purpose, read those books, and then figure out what your purpose is. And then meaningful contribution is synonymous with what you're asking here, purpose-driven. What makes it a meaningful contribution for you? What do you want to contribute? Who do you want to contribute to? What do you want to be true about you when your life is done? So in order for me to answer these questions, first of all, we got to get clear on what your purpose is. If you don't know, then nobody else can answer this question. So this is a Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra type of question here that you're asking. And I would suggest, again, go grab some books on purpose where they talk to you about figuring out what your purpose is. I like Robert Greene has a book called Mastery, where he talks about this, figuring out what your purpose is going to be in life. What is your life's task is what he calls it. Napoleon Hill calls it your burning desire, your definite chief aim. But you need to know what it is. You got to figure out what that is. These books kind of talk about how to get to it, but you got to figure out what it is first before you know how to get to it. So that's where I would start there, Kobe. Good question. Number 7 comes from Britlin. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Britlin is from Murfreesboro, which I believe is in Tennessee. Shout out to Tennessee. I know some people in Tennessee. Britlin says, and by the way, I'm answering questions from my text community. Those of you who know what this episode is about. Britlin says, I believe I am good enough. So how do I actually get a coach to put me on his college basketball roster? Okay, so this question is taking me back to the basketball days, but I want you all to understand, those of you who are not athletes, answer that I'm about to give is a good framework, and the principles I'm going to share in this answer can apply to all of you, even if you've never picked up a basketball and never played a sport. How do I get a coach to put me on his basketball roster even though I'm good enough? Okay, first of all, let's backtrack here. To get on a college basketball roster, let's just say there are 15 people on a basketball team. For you to get on a college basketball roster, you have to earn your way onto the roster. So you don't get a coach to put you on the roster. The better question here, Britlin, is what you should be asking is, how do I earn my way onto a roster? How do I earn my way onto a roster? Not how do I get put on a roster? Because to get put on a roster means you didn't earn it. And in the sports world, you got to earn it. Now, in other areas of life, you may not have to earn it. You could have nepotism and know the right person. Knowing the right person could get you on a sports team, but usually not. You got to actually be able to play in the sports world. Sports is the closest thing we will have to a meritocracy you will see in life. So how do you get onto a college basketball roster? First of all, you got to earn your way on, as I just said. So you believe you're good enough. So you already answered that part. You believe that you're good enough. Now, college basketball has levels. You got Division I, Division II, Division III. You got JUCO. You got NAIA. So whatever level you're referring to, he didn't mention a level here or how good he believes he is. So let's just pick a level. Let's just say Division I was the highest level of college basketball. You want to be on the Division I college basketball team. What you need to do is prove to someone who has influence with the coaching staff, maybe one of the assistant coaches. The good thing about a Division I school is they usually got a bunch of coaches because they got budget for a bunch of coaches. I remember I went to a game. It was University of Miami. I don't go to many college basketball games. I went to this game where it was University of Miami was hosting Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech had more coaches than they had players. They had like 15 coaches and like 12 players. So the good thing about that for you, somebody like you, is that you have 15 different options of people who you can reach out to try to get on the basketball team. Because if you get one of those coaches who has the ear of the head coach, that might be enough to get you on a team, or at least get you invited to a tryout, or come work out with the team to show what you can do. So that's what I would do, is identify the school that you want to play for. That's the next thing. Identify the school you want to play for. There are how many colleges in America with a basketball team? Probably 1,000, maybe more than that. So first of all, you got to identify a school. This is something that I would have to tell basketball players a lot back in the days, because I would get this question often. How do I get on a college basketball team? First of all, you got to pick a team. All right, what team do you want to play for? Because you can reach out to, or you can pick a bunch of teams that you might be interested in, and this makes the job a lot harder. But I mean, this will give you more opportunities to win, so it can work. You got to pick a team that you want to play for, or a bunch of teams you might want to play for, and then you got to reach out to the coaching staffs on all of those teams at each one of those schools and get a response. And you have to basically sell yourself. Hey, here's who I am. Here's what I got. What I got is your credentials. I'm 6'6". I'm 230 pounds. I play this position. Ideally, you got some game footage that shows that you can actually play. So, Britlin, you believe that you're good enough. Belief is not going to get you on a college basketball team, but I guess what will get you on a basketball team? Proof. All right, so you've heard, if you've been listening to the show long enough, you heard when I had my man Wes Pfeiffer on the team, on the show rather. He is a college basketball coach. He was a teammate of mine. He and I are the only two guys from my school who played professional basketball coming out of Penn State Altoona. And he talks about how he gets emails all the time from athletes who want to be on his team. You need proof. If you got some video, he even said this on the show, if you got some video, I'll at least take a look at it. Let me see what you can do. Maybe you might be able to play. I might randomly find a good player. But just saying that you can play is not enough. You got to actually have some proof. So hopefully you got some game footage, Britlin. If you don't, go get some. You got a phone. Get somebody to hold the phone and record yourself doing something in a game that shows you can actually play. Okay, so get some footage that you can play. Put that on YouTube. Grab the link. Put that in the email. Tell them who you are. Here's how old I am. Here's where I'm from. Here's where I last played at. Here's the schools that I went to. Here's my numbers. Again, your height, weight, age, etc. Are you eligible to play college basketball? Have you played in college already? How many years of eligibility you got left? Are you cleared academically? All of these things you need to get taken care of, because the coach wants to know all this stuff. This is all flashing through their mind when they look at you, if they think you can actually play. So the more of it you take care of that they don't have to take care of, the better chance that you'll get a positive response from them. And then you got to reach out to all these teams. So this is the legwork. You got to reach out to all these schools, coaching staffs, teams, etc. that you want to play for, so you get a bite. You get somebody to bite, then I'm assuming you'll go to whatever school they'll have you, right? So he didn't say a particular school. So whatever school will have you, you're willing to go. Okay, this is all the work that you got to do to make it happen. I basically just gave you your whole framework for what you got to do. Now, I made it sound simple, but it's not that easy because this may take some time. Good news is I'm recording this in early to mid-June. By the time you hear it, it'll probably be July. And so you're going to have about a month to possibly get yourself on a college basketball roster. I would suggest you get working on this like yesterday. All right, good question, Britlin. Next question comes from Sari, S-A-R-I, Sari, who is in L.A. I don't know if this is Los Angeles or Louisiana, but I think it's L.A. Sari, and by the way, I'm answering questions from my text community. Those of you who want to be in the next round, text me so you're in my text community. Next time I want questions, I will ask, and then you can send them. Sari says, should I accept connect requests from people who do the exact same thing as I do? So Sari did not give any other context here. I'm thinking connect requests might be like Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn has connect requests. So let's assume that this is LinkedIn. So should I accept connect requests from people who do the exact same thing as I do? So I get these connect requests on LinkedIn from people who are, let's say I am, what category would you put me in? You put me in many categories. Let's say business coaching, right? So a business coach offers me a connect request. Yeah, I'll accept the request. Why not? So say the answer to the question is, yeah, why not? I mean, what do you lose if you connect with, let's say you're a business coach, Sari, or you're a personal development coach, or you're a life coach, or you're a yoga instructor. Let's say you connect with another yoga instructor. What do you lose by connecting with a yoga instructor? Nothing. I think you can only gain. You can only learn things because maybe they know some stuff that you don't know. They can put you on to some information that you were not privy to. So I don't think there's anything you could possibly lose from connecting to another person who's in the same space as you. As a matter of fact, there's a lot that you can gain because they may know some stuff, again, that you just don't know about. So yes, you should accept those connect requests. This is not like there's this networking group called BNI where basically people meet to network, but there's only one person per industry allowed. So, for example, as a business coach, if I was in the Miami Beach BNI group, no other business coaches can join the group because I'm the business coach in the group. Or if you were the real estate person, no other real estate people can join because you're the real estate person. So this ain't BNI. All right, your connect requests are not BNI. And as a matter of fact, on most social media apps, there's no limit to how many people you can be connected with. I mean, we like having as many followers and connections as possible. So you're not losing anything by connecting with more people. So that's the answer to that question. Next comes from, and I'm answering questions from my text community. Next comes from Sarah, who is in Ingersoll. I don't know where Ingersoll is, but Sarah says, do you find getting out of your own head to be a challenge at times? I'm finding thoughts seem to get me stuck inside my head and is not always the best place to be. So to answer your first question, do I find it to be a challenge? The answer is no. But the only reason I don't find it to be a challenge is because I've done the work on my mindset to where this is not an issue, and to the point that I even can help other people with this issue. So you being stuck in your head is a common thing, Sarah. So don't feel like there's something wrong with you because you have the issue and I do not. I am, when it comes to mindset, I'm not the average person, but this is the reason why I have Bulletproof Mindset. This is the reason why I have Work on Your Game University. So you find thoughts seem to get you stuck inside your head and it's not always the best place to be. You're 100% right about that. So you're on point. It is not the best place to be. It is almost never the best place to be stuck inside your head, because if you're not giving energy out, you can't get energy back. And we all understand the law of karma. What you put out is what you get back. But if you're not putting anything out, you're being self-conscious, you're not able to get anything back from the universe. This can hurt your ability to make money, your ability to sell, your ability to communicate, your ability to connect, your ability to win friends and influence people. It slows you down in all these different ways. So this is a good question and is a good challenge to want to address. So I'm glad you're identifying this, Sarah. What you need to do is get the hell out of your head. One way you can do so is through Bulletproof Mindset. Again, that is the first thing you would get into when you come into Work on Your Game University. You can also do this through, depending on what kind of challenge you have and what you're looking for, you could do this through therapy. You could do this through, there are some people who will consider themselves more life coaches, and that's their thing, is just talking to people about just their mindset and where they are mentally and emotionally. So it really depends on what is the purpose of you getting out of your head, Sarah. Are you want to get out of your head just to get out of your head? Is that just the thing that you want to do? Are you trying to get out of your head because you're trying to accomplish something business-wise? Is it fitness-wise? Is it emotional? Is it some hang-ups from your past? Is it your unorthodox childhood? Is it something with a past relationship? What is it? What is the reason why you want to get out of your head? Based on that answer, then I would direct you towards therapy, maybe a life coach, maybe a spiritual coach, maybe a business coach, somebody like myself, and Work on Your Game University. And maybe something, if it's mindset related, then Work on Your Game University can work for you. But it depends on the reason why you want to get out of your head, what type of professional help you should seek. So I would need to get a little bit more context from you as to know what direction I would send you. But the question that you're asking is a legitimate question, and it is a legitimate need that needs to be addressed. Good question. Question number 10. I'm answering questions from people in my text community. This comes from Ronnie in Waltham, which I believe is in Massachusetts, I think. But Ronnie says, Dre, they say, quote, you are the company you keep. I realized this late in life. I don't know how old Ronnie is, but this is what he says. He realized this late in life. You are the company you keep. So how do you ditch your lifelong, nice, but non-ambitious, loser best friends and find new best friends as an adult? This is a great question. So you are the company you keep is what Ronnie says they say. So Ronnie, that is right. That is true. You are the company you keep. You are judged by your associates. And he realized this later in life. Again, we don't know how old he is. He wants to get rid of his friends who are nice, but they're not ambitious. And they're, by his words, losers. So how do you get rid of them to find better friends? Well, this is a good idea, Ronnie. You have the right idea. You do want to get rid of losers and people who are not ambitious if you are ambitious, because they will pull you down. So number one thing you need to do is get outside. And I talk about being outside in a whole lot of episodes of this show, but let me give you a few where I talked about being outside. Episode 2259, how to be outside to be seen, heard, and known. So what do I mean when I say being outside? Being outside, and there's also episode 854, luck strategy, be outside often. What do I mean when I say be outside? It means getting outside of what you normally do, your normal modes of operation, the normal people that you spend time around. That's what I mean when I say being outside. You need to go to where these other people are at. And if you're looking for high-level individuals, you want to get around other people who are doing something, then you need to make the law of association work in your favor. I talked about the law of association in episode 1880. The law of association states you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Which I'm assuming Ronnie understands this because he said you are the company that you keep. You want to associate with high-level people, you got to go to where high-level people gather together to meet other high-level people. Where do they intentionally go when they want to meet other people who are like them? That's the question you should be asking yourself. So what is the answer to that question? Let me tell you. They meet at events, they meet at conferences, they meet in masterminds, they meet in group coaching programs. Events, conferences, masterminds, group coaching programs. These are the places you need to go. What do all four of these things have in common? Usually they are organized by some high-level individual who has gathered these people together. And also, they usually, almost always, require a financial investment. 1, 2, 3, 4. Events, conferences, group coaching programs, masterminds. You need to put yourself in those places, Ronnie. Good news is, since you realize this later in life, as a general rule, people tend to earn more money the older that they get, the longer they are in a career. So I'm assuming you're earning more money now than you were 10, 15, or 20 years ago. So as such, again, this is just an assumption, I may be wrong, but as such, you probably can afford to go to put yourself in these type of places financially. You can afford to do so. As a matter of fact, Ronnie, based on your question, you can't afford not to do so. So if you want to meet higher level people, this is where you start. These are the places that you need to go. So, and one place that you can do this is, guess what? I just told you all at the top of this episode, we just opened a group coaching program inside of Work on Your Game University. This would be the best place for you to go, Ronnie, since you're already part of the Work on Your Game world. You are now commemorated on the Work on Your Game podcast, and you're already in my text community. So why not join the group that I have created, Work on Your Game University? I mean, I'm not force feeding you this idea. All right, I'm giving you the answer that you asked. So this is all in Work on Your Game University. So go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, Ronnie, or just text me. You're already in my text community. Text me and let me know, hey, Dre, that group program you were talking about, what's it about? How do I get in? How do I get started, etc.? And I'll put you on. We'll talk about it. So all that said, let's recap the questions from today, and next episode we'll move on. Number 5, and again, we'll get a different number of questions each time. Just depends on how much time it takes. Number 5 was Dwayne from Cleveland. How do I take all the information I've gathered from various places on business and put it all together? Number 6, Kobe says, what are the keys to living a purpose-driven life and making a meaningful contribution to the world? Number 7, Britlin says, I believe I'm good enough. How do I get on a college basketball roster? Number 8 was Sari says, should I accept connect requests from people who do the same thing as me? Number 8, Sarah says, do you find getting out of your own head to be a challenge, because I seem to get stuck in my own head is not the best place to be? And Ronnie says, you are the company you keep. I realized this later in life. How do you get rid of your nice friends who are not ambitious and they're losers and find new best friends as an adult? All great questions so far, everybody. Y'all doing a good job. So I think I may do more of these text messages from the audience, because y'all asking actually quality questions. So sometimes I ask for questions from an audience and I get a bunch of garbage, but these have been good so far. Let's not jump the gun. So we're 10 questions in. We still got 30 questions to go. So we will see you in the next episode. We will do more of Dre answering questions from the text community. Text me. Let me know you want to get the daily motivation. Let me know the best answer you got from the best insight you got from these answers I've given so far. My number is 305-384-6894. And Work on Your Game University. I already told y'all. I keep telling y'all. This is the only place to work with me directly. We just opened a group coaching program that makes it easy. Again, if finances have ever been the reason why you have not looked into joining a group coaching program or getting coaching from somebody like myself because you think maybe you won't be able to afford it, whatever, we just opened a group coaching program that will be the easiest and most affordable program that will be offered in Work on Your Game University. All right. As long as I'm alive and I'm running it, all right, this is the easiest one for you to get into. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com or send me a text. Let me know, Dre, that group program you keep talking about, how do I get into it? Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com or just send me a text. Tomorrow, we will go into more of these questions. Work on your game. Dre all day.